So these are all carbonyl compounds, or those which have got CO, double bond, as a functional group, isn't it? Some of the students are coming now. Okay, so anyway, we will start and they will join. Okay, fine.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Yes. What happened? 15 minutes late. Okay, anyway, we will start with without wasting any more time. Okay, so these are all carbonyl compounds, aldehydes, ketones. Example for this is formaldehyde, carboxylic acids. They also have got C double bond group. Esters. So these are all considered as derivatives of acids. Acid chlorides, acid anhydrides. Okay, so basically you have got carbonyl compounds as mainly aldehydes, ketones, and carboxylic acids. And these esters, acid chlorides, acid anhydrides, acid amides, they are all the derivatives of carboxylic acids. Why it is like that? You have got, say for example, you have got acetic acid. So acetic acid, CH3, C double bond O, OH. If you substitute this, if you substitute this OH with NH2, you will get an amide. With Cl or NEX, you will get acid halides and acyl group, OCO R group. If you do that, then you are going to get an anhydride. So all these are considered as derivatives of carboxylic acids. Now all the derivatives of carboxylic acid on hydrolysis give carboxylic acid. That is the reason even cyanides are considered as derivatives of carboxylic acid, because this on hydrolysis easily gives you RCOOH plus ammonia, isn't it? Okay. So these are all carboxylic acids and carbonyl compounds and their derivatives. Now coming to the nomenclature of that. Very simple, easy. Aldehydes get the suffix Al and ketones will get ONE. Carboxylic acids, oic acid, depending upon whether it is an open chain or closed chain. In closed chain compounds, you should be using carboxylic acid, or in case of aldehyde, carbaldehyde, like that. Okay. So first one is very simple, 4-hydroxy-3-methyl butanol. So this is an aldehyde. This of course is a ketone, 2-hydroxybutanol. Now in this case, this is also a ketone, but a cyclic ketone. So 2-bromocyclopentanone it is. Now in this case, it has got a double bond as well as a ketonic group. So because it is a double bond there, you can see whether it is a cis or trans isomer also. So you can consider, if you cannot find out whether it's cis or trans, then you have to find out E and Z, where you are going to give priorities to the groups which are there. So in this case, it is Z isomer. So that is because the higher priority on either side should be on the same side. So this and this, that will get the highest priority. This CO group. So that is the reason Z is written. This is IUPAC way of nomenclature of geometrical isomers. This is trans, of course. So one is on the this side, other one is coming down. So it is trans 3-pentanol. Now in this case, it is E isomer. So in this case, this is a double bond. So you have got, this is a higher priority group and this is the higher priority group. They are on the opposite side. Okay, so this is also a simple aldehyde, 3-methyl cyclohexane carbaldehyde. That is what you are going to use. So if it is an open chain compound, you are going to use Al like this. Cyclic one, you are going to use this. Acrolein is also an unsaturated aldehyde. So 2-propanol it is. This finds application in polymers. Okay, so that is how they are important. Nomenclature is also important. Then we shall move on to some more nomenclature. This is sometimes common name is important. Propanone, acetone we use, even though it is propanone is a UPSC name. Acetone is also used, which is a common name. Acetophenone, This is an aromatic ketone. Methyl phenyl ketone, that is also a common name. Both are common names. Acetophenone is accepted as a UPSC name. And this one, benzophenone, diphenyl ketone. This is a ketone, aromatic ketone. Now in this case, I have got 3 aldehyde groups. Because you can't give any priority any one of them, so don't give priority to any of them. Name it as propane 1, 2, 3 tricarbaldehyde. So that is how you are going to name if you cannot give equal priority to the same kind of groups. Okay? Any doubt here?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now coming to the structure of the carbonyl group, all of you are aware that the CO bond, the carbon here is sp2 hybridized and it is planar. So in this above and below the sigma bond, you have got pi electron density here. And because oxygen is a little more electronegative than carbon, so the electrons are more towards oxygen than towards carbon. So therefore, carbon end of the molecule gets a small positive charge, the other end gets a negative charge, small negative charge. So this is how it looks. So CO bond is polarized and therefore it is highly reactive. The reactivity of carbonyl groups, carbonyl compounds is due to this. They immediately undergo nucleophilic substitution and even elimination reactions. Okay. Then coming to the methods of preparation, some of the methods we have already done in all alcohols. Oxidation of primary alcohols, you can use a simple pyridinium chlorochromate in CH2Cl2 because it is a primary alcohol, it can easily be oxidized using a mild oxidizing agent also. So this is an aldehyde. So if you want to oxidize a secondary alcohol, you need a little stronger oxidizing agent. So you can use Cr2O7 pyridinium dichromate. So you will get ketone here. Secondary alcohols are oxidized to ketones. And tertiary alcohols, it's not very easy to oxidize them. Okay. So you have got the second method, very important method, dehydrogenation of alcohols, where the alcohol is passed through copper tube and heated copper tube, or you can pass the vapors of this or heated copper tube, where a dehydrogenation happens, alcohols are formed. Aldehydes are formed if you use a primary alcohol. Secondary alcohols, if you use, you are going to get ketone. This is an important method. Then from hydrocarbons, especially from alkenes, Woos analysis. There is oxidative Woos analysis, reductive Woos analysis. This is a reductive Woos analysis. In oxidative Woos analysis, we are going to use zinc and H2O2. H2O2 is an oxidizing agent. Okay. So this is going to oxidize. If at all aldehyde is formed, it will be oxidized to acid. So therefore, in oxidative Woos analysis, you will not get aldehydes, you will end up getting acids. But if it is a ketone, that will remain as ketone, whether you use oxidative or reductive Woos analysis. If you use zinc and water, then it is reductive Woos analysis. So the aldehyde that is formed will remain as aldehyde, no further oxidation happens. Okay, that is a very important point. You should be in the exam also, you should be very, very careful to look at the process of Woos analysis, whether it is oxidative or reductive. H2O2, if you see, it means it is oxidative. Okay. So then hydration of alkynes using Hg2 plus as the catalyst here. So you are going to get initially an enol form which tautomerizes to give the keto form like this. So this is another important method for the preparation of aldehydes and ketones. Okay. Lot of methods are there. Some of it you have already studied. Some we are going to take it up. Preparation of aldehydes. These methods are exclusively for the preparation of aldehydes from acid chlorides. The reaction is popularly known as Rosenmund reduction, where you are going to use a poisoned catalyst here. So which helps in the, it is not going to further reduce this to alcohol. If you don't use barium sulfate, simply use H2PD, then it will be reduced all the way down to the alcohol. So in order to avoid that, poison the catalyst, reduce the activity of the catalyst. Okay. So that is what this barium sulfate does. Rosenmund reduction, very important one. Then you have got Stephan reduction, which happens in the acid medium SnCl2 and HCl, specifically used for the reduction of nitriles. Initially, you will get an imine. C double bond N, if that group is there, then you get imine. If hydrogen is there, it is simply imine. If it is substituted, then we call it a substituted imines. So in this case, it is an imine. Imines on hydrolysis would give aldehydes. Very, very important method. Stephan reduction is important because it can be used for the reduction of nitrile specifically. And if you want to, reduce only the nitrile group and not the other functional groups, if at all present in the compound, then you can use diisobutyl aluminium hydride. This is a very mild reducing agent, and it can be used for the reduction of only cyanides. If some other functional group is there, if you use Sn and HCl, even supposing if the compound has got a double bond, CH2 double bond CH, CH, say CH2, C triple bond N. If this is there, then if you use Stephan reduction, there is every chance that this also will be reduced. So double bond will not be there in the product. But if you want the double bond to be there in the product, if you simply want to reduce the cyanide group, then you are supposed to use this diisobutyl aluminium hydride. They will not give you this name in the exam. They will give you this DIBAL. Okay, so that is the importance of this. And even the ester can be hydrolyzed or reduced to aldehyde by using this diisobutyl aluminium hydride with H2. So these are other methods for the preparation of aldehydes alone. Then you have got aromatic aldehydes. Simple methods are there. You can use chromyl chloride, which we have used before also. I was telling you about the oxidizing agents here. This is one such oxidizing agent which initially forms a chromium complex, which on hydrolysis gives aldehyde. So any alkyl benzene can be oxidized to this. Then using chromic oxide in acetic anhydride. This is also a very good oxidizing agent, especially for aromatic aldehydes. So substituted benzenes, they can be, oxidized using this to the respective aldehyde. Another important method for the preparation of aromatic aldehydes. By the side chain chlorination, all of you are aware of this. So if you use chlorine in presence of light or heat, benzene ring is not going to be halogenated. It is the side chain which is going to be halogenated because it follows free radical mechanism. So therefore you will get this. When this is hydrolyzed, you are going to get, initially you are going to get this compound. Both the Cl will be substituted. Nucleophilic substitution happens. You will get OH and OH here. So carbon having two OH groups is unstable because of repulsion between the lone pairs. So immediately it will lose a molecule of water and you will get this. So that is another important method. This is a named reaction, Gattermann-Koch reaction. It is just like any other electrophilic aromatic substitution. You must have studied about, supposing if I use CH3COCl in presence of AlCl3, this is Friedel-Crafts acylation. So the electrophile that is generated here is CH3C double bond O plus. Similarly, HC double bond O cannot be, in this compound itself is unstable, HCOCl. So therefore, if it has to be formed, that is HC double bond O plus, this electrophile has to be formed. It has to be formed during the course of the reaction itself. That is exactly what happens here. So HCOCl, so this is the electrophile which is generated in this reaction, carbon monoxide HCl in presence of AlCl3. So RCUCl also can be used, HC double bond O this plus. So electrophilic aromatic substitution happens. That is what is called as Gattermann-Koch reaction. The name is also important here, okay? And the next one is preparation of ketones. These are exclusively for the preparation of ketones. First method, you may not be quite familiar with this. by using acyl chlorides using dialkyl cadmium. So in this case, this cadmium has got this alkyl group bonded to this cadmium, comes out as R minus. A very good way of generating carbanions. So this carbanion can attack this when it reacts with this. This is a carbonyl, acid chlorides especially. This carbon can be, the carbanion can form a bond here. And this will be a living group here. So therefore, you are going to get the ketone easily. So this is an important method. The moment when you see this reagent, you should be able to identify that it is for the preparation of ketones. So from nitriles, Grignard reagent, this reaction we have done, they react with this followed by, hydrolysis, you are going to get ketones. This is another important reaction. Then you have electrophilic aromatic substitution. So that is, it is used commonly, generally used reaction for the preparation of basically aromatic carbonyl compounds. So that is another. So these are all basically the methods of preparation of aldehydes and ketones. Now we shall take up some questions. In the next session, there is one more session for this. I will be taking up some special reactions and I will explain those reactions. So this is about methods of preparation. Now we shall take up some questions based on this chapter. First one, which of the following compounds has the highest boiling point? That is the first question. So how do you answer this?
Second.
Butane 1-ol, yes. Alcohols have got higher boiling point. This is butanol basically. Supposing if you take this as CH3, CH2, CH2, C double bond OH, this is butanol. Butane 1-ol will be like this, CH2, 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 OH. Diethyl ether, so that will be CH3, CH2, O, CH2, CH3. This is the compound. Then 2-methyl propene, it will be like this. So this is 2-methyl propene, this compound. So this is basically a hydrocarbon. It will have least boiling point. So you can only compare these compounds. Among this one will have least boiling point because in this case, the oxygen here is bonded to 2 carbons on either side. So in case of aldehydes, you can see some dipole-dipole interaction. Here the bond polarity is very less. So therefore ethers will have least boiling point. And then comes your aldehyde, CHO, dipole-dipole interaction you will have. But here there is hydrogen bonding. So hydrogen bonding will have stronger intermolecular forces. Magnitude of force of attraction will be more. So therefore, butanol is the correct option. Alcohols will always have higher boiling point than aldehydes. Aldehydes in turn will have higher boiling point than ketones. Okay, so that is all of you must have got the answer for this. Move on to the second one. This is an interesting question. Enthalpy of combustion of butanol is greater than that of butane 2-ol because. What is the reason for that? He has given 4 reasons. In ketones, the carbonyl group is more sterically hindered than alcohols. Okay, aldehydes. Aldehydes are more stable than ketones due to the hydrogen directly bonded to the carbonyl group. That is the second one. Ketones are more stable than aldehydes due to plus psi effect of the 2 alkyl groups. Okay, so that is only the combustion. I had told you this in one of the sessions that heat enthalpy of combustion, enthalpy of hydrogenation in case of unsaturated hydrocarbons is the one which is used to determine the stability. So lower the value of combustion means higher is the stability. So enthalpy of combustion of butanol is greater means it is less stable. It is at a higher energy state than butanol. The only reason that you can give is that it has the carbonyl group is having alkyl group on either side. Double bond. Okay. So the positive charge developed on this carbon due to electronegativity difference will be stabilized by plus psi effect of this. That is the reason. Okay. That's correct. Option 3. Ketones are more stable than aldehydes due to the plus I effect of the two alkyl groups. That's correct. Now let's move on to the next question. That is this question. The name of the following compound is, yes, I think I had taken this example. Am I right? Propane 1,2,3 tricarbaldehyde. This is the name. Okay, you can't give priority to any one of them. So don't give priority. So write it as carbaldehyde. Generally asked question is this. Similarly, they will ask you this one also with COOH group. COOH, CH2COOH, CH2, then COOH. In this case also you can't give importance to all the three. So there also you are going to write it as tricarboxylic acid. Okay, so that is correct. So option 2. Okay, fine. Most of you must have got this. Correct? Any doubt?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. That is this. The product in the following reaction is, actually, no, yeah, according to you, what is the product? I think I had taken this while explaining the methods of preparation. Okay, SnCl2, this will be oxidized. This will be reduced, but not oxidized. Yes, pent 3-in-1-Al. Okay. But actually what happens is that option is not there. Otherwise, you could have chosen that. So that is the reason I have taken this question. In presence of this, even this gets reduced. But that option is not there. So best option you can take is option 2. That's correct. Okay. Pentane 1, pentanol, Al, that is also correct. Okay. Understood? Because that option is not there, so you don't have that choice. Fine. So here most appropriate one is 2. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. This one. The following conversion can be done using Hep2-ene 5-YNE1-nitrile to Hep2-ene 5-YN1-Al. Here also that E shouldn't be there. Yeah. Diisobutyl aluminium hydride. That's correct. So this is the one. Specifically, it is a selective reagent. Selectively, it will reduce nitriles. It's a very sterically hindered one. That is the reason it cannot go right inside the molecule. So surface only it will react, and hence it can reduce only the CN group. So that's correct. Option 2, diisobutyl aluminium hydride, which is the selective reducing agent there. Okay. The product formed on dry distillation of calcium formate and calcium acetate is. This is another method which you don't have in the board exam, but it is generally asked in the competitive examination. It was there before, but now it is not there. I don't see that reaction. So basically what happens here is, anybody knows methanol? Calcium formate, propanone. Any other answer? Yeah, propanone. Just see that. Supposing you take this calcium salt of this, CH3, okay. In fact, all of these you will get. Okay. That fourth one is the correct option. That means most of you must have studied this for the benefit of those who haven't studied this. Okay. So you have to take the calcium formate and calcium acetate. C double bond O, O, CH3, C double bond O, O, twice Ca. This is calcium acetate. plus calcium formate. Let's write it like this. Ca, this is O and O, C double bond O, H, C double bond O, H. This is the combination of these two, okay? So you have to remove, this will give its own product. What is that product? Minus of calcium carbonate, CaCO3, you have to remove. So you have to remove it like this. If you remove this, what is left is CH3, C double bond O, CH3, okay? Now in this case also, this will give its own product. That will be, again you remove calcium carbonate, CaCO3, like this. So this will give HC double bond OH. This will be formed. Methanol, methane, AL it should be, not OL. So maybe that is AL it should be, okay? So this is one. When you take both of them, so it will be like, you know, so you have to remove this calcium from here and then you have to go like this. Remove one of them. So you will get the other one, that is ethanol, CH3, this one. This you will get. CH3, C double bond O, H. Two molecules of this will be formed if both the molecules are going to react. So therefore, make it AL and then take the answer as all of these. Okay. Sometimes they will not give you this question like this. Sometimes they will give you this. The product formed in this reaction is CH3, COOH. When it is made to react with, say, barium oxide, Ba. Barium oxide is a basic oxide, or BaOH twice, or calcium hydroxide, CaOH twice. Then initially what happens, it is going to give the calcium salt first and then decarboxylation. So you should be able to identify the reagent. If this reaction happens, you will get acetone, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Are you able to follow this? Yes? Anybody who hasn't followed this? Followed, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one. The correct order of acidic strength of the following compounds is. Yes. What is your answer for this? B greater than A greater than C greater than D. Somebody, 3 students have answered that. First one answer. Okay. Anyone else? Anybody want to try? The concept-based question. Actually, the correct option is option 2. Okay. Why? Because it is due to ortho effect. Okay. What exactly is ortho effect? Try to understand that first. Right? It's a very important concept. So you have got C double bond O, OH. This is a carboxylic acid group. And you have, when no group is there at the ortho position, these electrons can be involved in resonance. Once it gives out this proton, it is going to form this carboxylate ion, O minus. Okay, so this will be like, this can go there, this will go there. So therefore, there is resonance involved in this if there is no group present in the ortho position. But if there is a group present at the ortho position, then what happens? This CH3 or NO2, it is immaterial whether you have CH3 or NO2. So this group, this entire group is rotated. This bond rotates. This globe goes out of this group. It will be in a plane different from its hexagonal ring. So it is not plane, no more plane. So in that case, the carboxylate ion formed will not be stabilized by resonance because there is no resonance. Resonance has to happen, it should be planar. Planarity is lost because of the rotation. That is due to the presence of this big group at the ortho position. Okay. Now this molecule finds its own way of stabilizing itself. That is, this bond comes here, this goes here. So you are going to get two equivalent structures like CH3. This will become, now this will be double bond O, this is O minus. These two, 1 and 2, if I write, these two are equivalent resonating structures. Okay, equivalent structures. Whenever the canonical structures are equivalent, resonance hybrid is more stabilized. So because of this more stability, this acid is, I mean, if it has got any big group at the ortho position, that acid will be more acidic. Okay, so therefore, whether you have CH3 or any other electron withdrawing group or releasing group, it is immaterial. It should be a big group. Like if you have Cl, that is not going to show ortho effect. CH3, yes. NO2, yes. And therefore, this is the most acidic one. Okay. And then comes your CH3. In any case, it is an electron releasing group. It will reduce the acidity of this because the carboxylate ion, which has got a negative charge, C double bond O, O minus. If any group which is there, which is releasing electrons, it will increase the electron density on this oxygen and destabilize that. So therefore, in any case, compared to benzoic acid, these two are less acidic. So therefore, B should be the next one. So A greater than B. Then coming to these two, at the meta position, it can only show plus I effect. But at the para position, it can even show plus I plus H. Hyperconjugation also it shows. So hyperconjugation is little more destabilizing of this carboxylate ion, and therefore this will be the least acidic one. And therefore, your correct option has to be this. Okay. Very, very important concept. Hope you all followed this. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now say for example, I told you this ortho effect. You might ask this question like I have got this. COOH, CH3, and then I have got COOH, NH2, NO2. Which one is more acidic? In that case, both of them are exhibiting or showing ortho effect. Am I right? You have got COOH here, NO2 over there, right? So in this case, both of them will show ortho effect. Both of them are almost equally acidic. But in that case, if you want to decide as to which one is done, then you will have to consider the inductive effect. So this one will show plus I effect. To a lesser extent, I mean, to some extent, it will destabilize that. This will show minus I effect, stabilize that. So you can automatically show that this will be more acidic. Okay. Yes, is it clear to you, all of you? Very important concept. If anyone who hasn't followed that, you can ask me. I have absolutely no problem in explaining this. Okay?
Ma'am,
Yes.
explain.
You want me to explain?
No.
Ortho effect?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Ortho effect is only when you have a big group at the ortho position. Immaterial whether it is electron releasing or withdrawing. So in this case, you should be, what exactly happens because of this group is a bigger group, it will repel the electron density on this COOH group. So therefore this CH bond, CC bond is rotated. So it will not be in the same plane as that of the benzene ring, and therefore you will not see any resonance stabilization because it is out of plane now. So now this molecule finds its own way of stabilizing that. How it is going to do that? So this carboxylate, it loses that proton, O minus it becomes. So this will come here, this will go there. So you will get only two structures, but those two structures are equivalent structures. So whenever you have an equivalent structure, they are going to contribute more to the resonance hybrid, and therefore it will be more stable. This carboxylate ion is more stable because of ortho effect. Because there is no resonance here, it finds its own way of doing that. It is out of plane now. The COOH group is out of plane. But if you simply take benzoic acid here, that benzoic acid, that carbon, and this the sp2 carbons, they are all in one plane. But here it is in a different plane. Okay? That is the reason this is most acidic. If I had taken this instead of this, if I had put NO2, then also you could have chosen that. If I had put OCH3, then also that would be more acidic. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Good. Very nice. Right. Now let's move on to the next question. This one. This is an interesting one. It has got a lot of concepts in it. That is the reason I have taken this. But you must be thinking that there are so many reactions. But all the reactions that you are seeing here, they are quite familiar to you. Okay? So you have got HCYNAL. Okay? So let's write the structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will be AL, CHO. You have got 3YN. 1, 2, 3. Triple bond is here. So you are using sodium borohydride. So that is going to reduce the aldehyde group, isn't it? Aldehyde is going to become alcohol. So you can, it is not going to affect the triple bond. Fine. So this will become initially CH2OH. Then you are making it react with PBr3. So nucleophilic substitution happens. This will go out, OH will go out. You will get Br here. Am I right? CH2Br it becomes. So that is the first part of this. You will get I here. Now you are making it with magnesium in ether. CH2Br becomes CH2MgBr, isn't it? Yes. Okay. So now what are you doing? You are making it react with carbon dioxide. What should happen to this group now? CO2, CO2, isn't it?
Ma'am, your voice is not clear, ma'am.
Voice is not clear.
I'm not visible, ma'am.
One second. Let me increase it further. Now it is okay?
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So here you are making it react with carbon dioxide. So that means you should be getting an acid there, isn't it? So I was telling this carbonyl carbon will be slightly negative in the carbon dioxide. So C double bond O, double bond O. You have to consider only one CO group. This will take away, this will be positive. Don't you think this will form a bond here? Okay, and one more carbon you are getting here. So that is going to become, let me remove this MgBr here and I will make this as like this. You have got CH2, CO minus, this is double bond. So then when it is hydrolyzed, this is going to become OH. So that acid is got. Then acid you are getting, you need to convert it into acid chloride. So which reagent you are supposed to use?
Hello, ma'am.
SOCl2, isn't it?
Voice is not audible, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, you can use SOCl2. In this case,
Hello, ma'am.
why? You are asking why?
Voice is not audible.
Voice is not audible. How come? Oh, okay. Let me remove this and check. Now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Now is audible.
Now it is audible. Okay. All the
Thank you.
students can hear now.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay, fine. So till here you understood SOCl2. So you have to convert this one into Cl because you are using PD BaSO4, that is for acid chloride, isn't it? So you are getting an acid chloride here. So use SOCl2. This will be converted to Cl, right? All the reactions are quite familiar to you here. This is going to become Cl. So now here you have to be careful here. This is a catalytic reduction. reduction is happening on the surface of the catalyst. Okay, when the reduction happens, you are getting an aldehyde here, isn't it? So this is the aldehyde that you are getting. So which one should be the aldehyde? First one? Okay, because nothing, but don't you think this H2 is going to reduce this one as well? This is a reducing agent, but it will not reduce it to alkane. It will reduce it to alkene. That possibility is there. H2PD, when you use an alkyne, can be reduced to alkene, right? So this is ruled out. This is ruled out because it is a poison catalyst. It cannot reduce the double bond further. It can only reduce a triple bond to a double bond. Yes. So this is the one. In this case also, you have to be careful here. So what do you think between these two? This is the cis isomer or trans. But if reduction happens on the surface of the catalyst, addition must happen from the same side. So you always get a cis isomer, isn't it? If it is a cis isomer, then this is cis, isn't it? Yes. Any doubt here? Number of steps involved. Remember one thing, on the surface of the catalyst, if reaction happens, if you are getting an alkene, you end up getting only the cis isomer. Trans isomer is not formed. Here, this is trans. See here. Nothing is given, means this is hydrogen, this is hydrogen. Hydrogens are on the opposite side. So this is trans, isn't it? So on the surface of the catalyst, it should be cis. So you should be getting the cis isomer. Okay. So the correct option has to be option 3. Am I right? PCl5 also can bring about this convert an acid into acid chloride. PCl5, PCl3, SOCl2, any of these you can use. The best one would be SOCl2. But along with this here, you have got PCl5, that is fine. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let me rub it off. Go to the next one. This question. This is also a concept-based question. In the following reaction, compounds E, F, G are respectively. You are heating this. Okay? What exactly happens? This is the alpha carbon. It is a beta keto acid. At the beta position, you have got an electron withdrawing. So therefore, such acids are unstable acids. That one? Okay, good. Yes, that is a product. So decarboxylation happens in this case. So you will be getting, this goes out and you are going to get initially this compound. And then this is your E. And when, because it is a methyl ketone, you are going to get iodoform. One is iodoform and this part will be oxidized. So pH, C double bond O, O minus. This is what you are going to get. So correct option is option 2. All of you got this? What is the important concept here? Beta keto acids. Or at the beta position, if you have any electron withdrawing group, the acid undergoes decarboxylation very easily. Okay, that is the concept. Fine. All of you got understood this? Any doubt? Shall I move ahead?
Yes, ma'am.
So now we shall move on to the 10th question. This is the question. This is also very interesting. A long one, but you have got distinctly different a piece. A tertiary alcohol A undergoes acid catalyzed dehydration to give product B. Okay, to give a product B, whose analysis of which forms C and D. Compound C on reaction with KOH gives benzyl alcohol and a compound E. However, D on reaction with KOH gives the following ketone. This is the ketone which is formed when D on reaction with KOH. This is what happens. Okay. So now you write the flow chart of this. A tertiary alcohol undergoes acid catalyzed dehydration. Let's just write a tertiary alcohol like this. This is your R. Let's say that this is going to be a CH2 and then say R it is. This is your tertiary alcohol. Undergoes a catalytic dehydration. So you are going to get the product B. So dehydration, if it undergoes, let's take this as R dash. R, C, this has to be R dash. This goes along with this, you are going to get a double bond, CH, let's say R double dash, this R double dash. Okay, so this is the dehydration product, ooze analysis of which forms C and D. So ooze analysis of this should give you, you have to just break it here, put O across, isn't it? So if nothing is given, you can take it as a reductive ooze analysis. So this will be C, R dash, you can write here, and double bond O, then you have got CH here, and R double dash double bond O. So this is the compounds which you are getting. Compound C on reaction with KOH gives benzyl alcohol, which means C here should not have any alpha hydrogens. That is only CHO. If it has to react with KOH and gives benzyl alcohol, so then it has to be benzaldehyde. So one of the compounds of ooze analysis has to be benzaldehyde, isn't it? So let's take this as benzaldehyde. The compound, whatever, C forms C and D. C on reaction with, let's say that this is C. Benzaldehyde is your C. Okay? Understood up till here? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay.
No.
Let's say that C is benzaldehyde. And he says benzyl alcohol and a compound E. However, D on reaction with gives KOH with KOH. KOH is like NaOH. This is your aldol condensation product. Okay, if it is aldol condensation product, before the product is formed, what should be the compound here? So this double bond is newly formed. So you will have here, this becomes OH here, and this has to be CH2, correct? So which means it is PH, C, double bond O, CH3. This should be the compound. When this undergoes condensation, then only you will get this product, isn't it? So this should be the other product. And therefore, as somebody has said, this should be the product. Okay, all of you understood this? In such questions, you have to go from the product to the reactant. Then you will get that. Fine? Any doubt? Anybody having any doubt here?
Explain last one.
Last step. Okay, so in the last step, this is how you find out how the product of this is formed. Okay, this is the aldol condensation product. Okay, so here the double bond which is formed, that is the one which is newly formed. That is how we are going to identify this bond. Before its formation, double bond, this has to be OH and this is your CH2, isn't it? This is the CH2, which means your compound has to be this. Before the aldol product is formed, it should be PH, C double bond O, CH3. Two molecules of this will combine to form that. So this alpha hydrogen OH minus will come and take away one proton from here, and you are going to get this enolate ion, C double bond O, CH2 minus. This is the one which is going to form a bond with the carbonyl carbon here, isn't it? So PH, C double bond O, CH3 is there. So this will go there. So this negatively charged carbon will come and form a bond. It becomes CH2, C double bond O, PH. Now this eventually this is going to become OH. Okay, this is going to become OH. Double bond goes out, single bond. Now you do dehydration reaction, then you are going to get a double bond. That is what this compound is, isn't it? So if you want to find out from the aldol, which is the product that is formed, you have to open up the double bond. Then it is easy for you to find out. This double bond you should open up, make it into a single bond. Then you will be able to find out the ketone or aldehyde, whichever is the case may be. Now it is understood. Generally in NEET, you will get questions of this type: aldol condensation, cross aldol condensation, Cannizzaro reaction, all these. Okay. Yes.
ma'am.
Can I get an S from all the students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
good, good. So do take, practice such problems. That will help you. Next question. Now this is also, it is looking like that, but it is a very simple one. All the reactions are very familiar. Compound P is a carbonyl compound and it gives positive iodoform test, which means what? It must have this grouping, right? C double bond O, CH3. That grouping it should have. That is the first, hint that is given to you, this grouping. This could be anything. Let's write it as R dash. Positive iodoform test. It undergoes series of reactions to give the final product is given here. Okay, so which is that you are supposed to find out. Now you make it react with CH3MgBr, right? They are asking about this compound R here. What is the compound R? Now you start from here. From the product you find out. Okay, so this is aldol condensation. After the condensation you are getting this product. So which is a double bond newly created? This one. So before the double bond is formed, you should have got the compound like this. Okay. So that is this, you have to put a OH here and this becomes CH2, correct? Before the formation of that. This would have become OH here and then this product is CH3 is here. You don't have to worry about this. This will be double bond O and then CH3. This is the product, correct? Or CH2, you would make it bonded here. Now this is the aldol. Now when you heat it, CH2 here. One of the hydrogen goes here, this hydrogen goes here, you are going to get this product, correct? So your R has to be yes. As somebody said, this is the product. Okay, so you don't even have to do any of this. Then you can, whenever you are free, you go back. This is your R you have identified. R is formed after the Woese analysis of this. So what should be your Q, even though it is not there in the problem, but you can ask that question to yourself, isn't it? In order to find out which is P. Okay, what is your Q? If I ask you that question, Q should be like this. So this is your R, from R you go back. So after Woese analysis, this is formed. The newly formed double bond is this, isn't it? I mean, CO bond. You bring them closer. So you have got this. Bring the CO bonds closer. This is C double bond O. This H is there, not a problem. You have got these two alkyl groups. C double bond O, you bring it here, and there is one CH3 group attached to this. Remove this oxygen, put a double bond between those two carbons. Isn't it? That is how you are going to do. So this will be like this. C, you have got that C there. I have removed the oxygen's double bond. This should be the alkene. That is your Q. And that Q is formed from all these reactions. First of all, H2SO4 and heat means there has to be one OH and H here, isn't it? It is like this. This is OH and H here. Remove that double bond. Okay? That is single bond it becomes. That is before you make it react with acid. This is what compound is, isn't it? And CH3, this CH3 must have come from here, right? And therefore, your compound P, which is a carbonyl compound, should be the most appropriate one would be, which is the carbonyl compound now? Find out. You think and find out. I will leave it for you. If you cannot, I'll tell you in the next session. The carbonyl compound, P I am asking, which is not given here. Okay? You find out. I told you how to do that. Right? So we shall leave it for you and then we shall move on to the next one. Okay, all of you try that. Find out what is P. Next, this question. This is a simple one. In this case, basically, yeah, yes. Any idea as to what is X and Y? X is C6H10. It has to be an alkyne, isn't it? CnH2n minus 2. So in this case, all the first compound which you have got is an alkyne. So you can't find it out from there, isn't it? And then it reacts with HgSO4 and H2SO4. That is, you are supposed to do hydration of alkynes. So when you bring about the hydration of alkynes, what is the product formed in the first case? You will get OH here, CH3. Am I right? In this case. Correct? Or C double bond O it becomes. Tautomerization happens. If the first compound is subjected to hydration, what do you get? So these are the CH3 groups which are intact there. And this will be initially COH, it becomes double bond CH2. Now what happens? This will shift here. So you will get CH3, these three are intact, nothing happens to that. You will get C double bond O, CH3. This is the product. If these two are correctly matched, then you can take it. There if you see, yeah, somebody has written second. Let's check it out, whether the product formed is so or not. That is what you are supposed to see here. The first compound is an internal alkyne, right? So you can write it this way. So in this case, CH3, CH2, C, triple bond, let's take this as double bond O, and then CH2, CH, this becomes CH2, CH2, CH3. This is what the product that is formed, isn't it? After enolization, tautomerization and all those things. So this cannot be the combination, isn't it? And then the next one is, it is reduced. Of course, when it is reduced, this possibility is there, correct? So these two are correctly matched, that is okay. What about this? This is not matched because when you do this, yeah, this will. In fact, this one also you will not get. When you do this, this possibility could be there. It is possible. But this one is not possible. This first one is not possible in this case. This is the only possibility which is not possible, while all the other three are possible. So therefore, in this particular question, one more hint has to be there to identify the correct product, isn't it? But actually here, the question is like 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 1 and 4, like that it was. Okay, I have left it out so that you people think. Okay.
Ma'am, disconnected. Repeat, ma'am, once again.
Disconnected, is it? Okay. So the product till that you understood how it is formed? Okay, I explained this. You have to take this ketone. This is going to become, see this, these three carbons. Let me rub it off. It is going to, okay, fine. I will answer this. Okay, let me take this color. Fine. So here, see, first one you take. I was explaining like this. These three CH3 groups and hydration happens here. So you will get basically enolization happens, C double bond O, CH3. This is what you get. Okay. So now this has to be when you use sodium borohydride and dilute acid, you are going to get a secondary alcohol here. These three are there. This becomes COH, this hydrogen and CH3. So your product has to be this and not this. So therefore this is ruled out. X is okay, but Y is not the compound. So you can take up this, right? But as somebody pointed out, it is possible even with this. Supposing if you take this, you are going to get double bond here, O, and this becomes CH2. Okay, when you reduce this, you are going to get this as OH here, which is possible. Okay, and even in this case, CH3C, this one, this is going to become double bond. This is become CH2, CH2OH, which is possible, right? But in this case, all the three possibilities are there except the first one. So therefore, X and Y could be these 1, 2, and sorry, not 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. The options were.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pardon me?
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes. Now I think it is understood. Very good. It's a nice question actually. Gives you a lot of logical thinking. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. That is this. Yeah. This most of you must have answered. You must have seen this question also. But it is very interesting. That is the reason I have taken. Any idea as to how many aldol reactions it must undergo? You try this. 3. That is correct. Okay. How the reaction happens, for the benefit of those who haven't done this, let's do it. Okay. Fine. Write the reactions. Now let me take this color. Fine. Okay. Initially, you have got CH3. It has to be cross aldol, isn't it? Because this is not having any alpha hydrogens. So therefore, this molecule, this carbonyl group can only act as an electrophile. So this OH minus will take away one alpha hydrogen and enolate ion is formed like this, CH2, CH2. This is minus. So this has to come and form a bond with this. Okay. Let's take this. HC double bond OH plus CH2 minus C double bond OH. So this is going to form a bond. And after hydrolysis, you are going to get this product here. That is C. This is going to become H. C. This is going to become OH, H. And you have got CH2, C double bond OH. Okay. So which means basically you have got CH2, C double bond OH, CH2OH. Okay. Similarly, you can substitute these two also, right? Fine. When you do that, finally, initially, when you substitute these two hydrogens, you will get this CH2OH. This is C, CH2OH, CH2OH. And now you have got C double bond OH. For this, no aldol condensation is required because there are no alpha hydrogens. This will undergo Cannizaro's reaction, self-oxidation reduction, and you will get this product. And therefore, only 3 aldol reactions. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Let's go to the next one. The compound that undergoes decarboxylation most readily under mild conditions is, just now I told you in the previous question. You can, if you have understood that, you will be able to answer this. If there is any beta keto acid, if there is any electron withdrawing group, all the answers you have given here. This is the beta keto acid, isn't it? Option 2, that's correct. This is the one. Okay. Move on to the next question. The compound Y in the following sequence of reactions is, this you can answer very well. So here you will get cyanohydrin formation first of all, CH3, CH2, COH, CN here, and then CH3. This is the product Y, sorry, X. And then you are using a hydrolysis basically. So CN group is going to be hydrolyzed to give COH, isn't it? So you are initially you are getting this. Let me write it here. CH3, CH2, COH is there, and then CH3, and then you have got COOH. After that, it is being heated. When you heat it, dehydration happens. When it is dehydrated, yes, that's a problem. COOH, that is nothing is going to happen. Only OH and this option 2, that is correct. Okay, any doubt here?
Ma'am, sound not audible, ma'am.
Sound not audible. Why it is like that? One second. Now it is audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is understood. This question, 15th question. Okay, anybody having any doubt? Can I get an S from all
Ma'am,
the
sound
students?
not audible, ma'am.
Sound not audible. I can't help you for that. I can hear you, but how come you are not able to hear me? If I go back, then it will cancel it. See if the audio is working there. Okay, anyway. Microphone. Now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am.
This is understood, this question, correct? So the correct option has to be option 2. Fine. Let's move on to the next question. This one. Which of the following reagents can bring about the following conversion? Yes, it is an ester.
Hydrate and
Propanoic acid is, it's not an acid basically, it is an ester. Make it, remove that name. Okay. Okay, fine. Sodium borohydride cannot reduce an ester. It is only the lithium aluminum hydride, and hence that is first one is the correct one. This one. It gives this. It breaks it here, gives you 2 hydroxides. So lithium aluminum hydride, yes. Fine. Okay. So that is a simple one. Hope you all have followed that. Let's move on to the next one. Yeah. This is interesting.
product of the following reaction
The
is
major product of the following reaction is
ester.
an ester. Okay. Now what exactly happens here is H plus is going to protonate this, isn't it? And this will open up an acetyl, that is correct. Here an acetyl is found. So acetyl is like this. You should have OCH3, OCH3. And any other. Okay, so that is what is formed here, an acetyl. How an acetyl is formed? You got H plus ions and hydrous. So basically the base here is CH3O minus. This H can come and, it can protonate this. So that is going to become positively charged, right? The bond, if it is breaks, if it is going to break, then it becomes a vinyl carbocation, which is not possible. It is going to break here. Okay. And then this will be positive, OCH3 comes here. And this is going to become OH. And eventually that one will also substitute it. So you are going to get an acetyl. Okay. Any doubt here? Anybody having doubt in this question, you can ask me. Okay. Why? What is this?
Why
Audio.
ether is not, ma'am?
Which one is not there?
Option third.
Option 3, an ether. This itself is an ether. This is an ether, isn't it? It will not remain as an ether after reaction, isn't it? It has to change, correct? Now it will change. So you have to break the bond at the appropriate position. You have to break it here. This will be positive. OCH3 comes here. This is going to be OH, and eventually that will also be substituted. You will get, oh, okay. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. So you are basically getting this as positive, double bond. This will be OH. Initially, it will be like this. Because you know that OH has to take up that, right? This will be OH. And then you have got this. So this is carbonyl carbon, OH, basically OCH3 comes here. This positive charge is there. So OCH3, one OCH3 comes here. Okay. And then this one will also be substituted with OCH3. You get OCH3. Yes, an ether. That is correct. It cannot form an acetal. She is right. Because acetal is the same compound carbon having two OCH3 groups. Okay. That is correct. So you should get an ether, diether basically. Okay. So this will be OCH3, double bond here, OCH3. That is an ether. Okay, very good. Who has answered this? An acetal is not formed here. Acetal is like this. The same carbon must be bonded to two alkoxy groups. Okay, yeah. Not an ester. Ether is correct. This is the problem. This is how it is. All of you understood this?
Yes,
Yeah?
ma'am.
Very good, very good. So I think we can take up one more question. Yes. This is a simple one. All of you can answer. An oxygen containing organic compound upon oxidation forms a carboxylic acid as the only organic product with its molecular mass higher by 14 units. The organic compound is primary
ma'am.
alcohol. Yeah, it's the primary alcohol which will be oxidized to acid, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
If you take this as RCH2OH, it will be converted to RCOH, which means you have removed 2 hydrogens, added 1 oxygen, isn't it? Oxygen is 16 units minus 2, it will be 14 units. Primary alcohol, correct. Okay. So I think that is fine. And then this is the next question. Yeah. I don't think we have enough time. I will consider this tomorrow in the next session. Okay. Which one of the following? If anybody has got know the answer, you can tell me. Tartaric acid, lactic acid.
Lactic acid, ma'am.
Lactic acid.
Lactic acid does not exhibit optical isomerism. A lactic acid exhibits, isn't it? It has got chiral carbon. Lactic acid is like this: CH3, CH, OH, COOH. This is the chiral carbon. Malic acid is a
Alpha minus.
alpha amino acid also depends upon the R group. It can show optical isomerism. Tartaric acid can show. It is only the malic acid. Malic acid is an unsaturated acid. Malic and fumaric acid, isn't it? C double bond E, COOH, cis form, COOH. This is your malic acid. Give the
Structure of malic acid, ma'am.
yeah, this is malic acid. This one. I have written it on the board, correct?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
The trans form is called as fumaric acid. The COOH group will be on the opposite side. Okay. So this is the one which cannot show optical isomerism, but it shows geometrical. This is malic acid. So fumaric acid will be like this. COOH, CO. They are trans to each other. Hydrogen and hydrogen. Okay. Fumaric acid. Fine. Any doubts?